Hello and welcome to the Western Wisconsin Journal. My name is Mary Claire Potter and it's my pleasure to be interviewing the candidates running for mayor for the city of Hudson. Joining me today is candidate Vicky Erickson. Vicky, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Mary Claire, for having me here this evening.
You bet, you bet. So I have a list of questions that I'm just going to walk through and allow you the chance to respond to those. So okay. I just want to start out, tell us about yourself, Vicky, your qualifications and your background for being mayor of the city of Hudson.
Sure. I would start off by saying that it was my parents that instilled a strong work ethic in me and the belief that if I work hard enough, I could achieve my goals. I started out in sales as a single mom, wanting to be able to provide for a college education for my daughter. And I knew that if I knew how hard I would work and the level of service I would provide, that I would be successful. And I worked my way up. I was successful. I worked my way up through a couple of companies, and then in 1992 I started my own company. And then it was going to be more about not just my success, but in building a team that would be successful. And over a span of 10 years, we built the company up to $3.2 million in annual sales. And it was during that time that I met my husband, Stu. And he is born and raised here in Hudson. His family had the local grocery stores here in town. And Stu, though, was an entrepreneur like myself. And his company was in the same office park as mine. And that's where we met. We fell in love and got married. I moved to Hudson. A couple years later, we had a son, Luke. He's currently a freshman at the high school, and he gets his permit this Friday. So we're
oh dear,
he's pretty excited.
Right.
So when he was about 3, I sold the company, and it was about that time that the pastor came to me at my church and asked if I would be willing to chair the capital campaign to build a new church on Vine Street, which I did accept that. And once that was completed, I went and got my real estate license and sold homes for Edina Realty for about 3 years. It was there that I learned really about home values and in this community, but more importantly, what affects those home values. And then in the last 8 years, I've been providing bookkeeping and accounting services for local businesses here in Hudson. My community involvement includes, I've worked on both the Hudson Rotary and the St. Pat Church Gala committees. I've done tutoring and mentoring at EP Rock School, but probably my most rewarding experience has been in working with Operation Help. I've, a few years back, a number of us got together and decided to start a nonprofit here in Hudson, formerly called The Source. A couple of years ago, we merged with Operation Help. They provide, as maybe you know, the rent, utility, and car repair assistance to St. Croix County residents. I've been the chair of the finance committee. I've been the treasurer for the last 6 years, and I'm on the board. And that's been very rewarding. And I think that between my community involvement, my business experience, and really real estate also, are qualifications that will prove itself well for being the mayor.
All right. Excellent, thank you. So as you think about the mayor's job, what do you think are the mayor's most important responsibilities?
I think the most important responsibility is listening to the people and finding out what's important to them. I've heard talk out there as I've been visiting with people that they want to make sure that we maintain the charm of downtown Hudson and that we frankly don't become another Woodbury. Well, in order to accomplish that, we need to, and it's something that I would focus on to begin with, is reworking the new comprehensive plan. The one from 2009 is outdated, and I think in order to preserve the vision that we have for this community, it needs to be documented. And the other important responsibility as a mayor, I feel, is building consensus on issues that are divisive out in the community. As an example, it's the school board referendum that's going to be on the ballot. the school board, I will say, has done an amazing job of reaching out to the community and finding a way to compromise and come up with a solution. And you maybe read about the group that visited Minnetonka High School. I was amongst that group. I wanted to see what it would look like to have a 1950 building re-engineered. And frankly, I was amazed. I was not sure how something like that would look, how it would work, when you're talking about enlarging hallways. But it was amazing. It really will work. It's a good solution for the high school. And I'd really like to see the community come behind, get behind this issue. And so when I'm out knocking doors and visiting with people, it's an issue I'm talking about, trying to build a consensus. And, there'll be other issues. That's just an example of one, but I do feel that that's an important responsibility to try and build that collaboration.
Good, good. So as you think about the next couple of years, what do you see are the most important issues that the Hudson City Council will be faced with in the next 2 years?
Number one is infrastructure. And what I mean by that is road construction and public safety, making sure that we have sufficient facilities for our public safety departments, the EMS and the fire department. Along with that, of course, there'll be the development plan for the golf course. And being a former member of the golf course, if there was anything that could have been done to save that, I would have been all for it. But I think everybody's realized it's beyond that. There's nothing we can do. So it's all about making sure we have a good plan. And I'm sure the council will work on that. The other thing would be the library issue. That's been a contention. And I think that we need to continue to support the library and increase our funding to the library. There's no reason that we should be underfunding the library. And I will reach out to the other municipalities to build collaboration on that issue. It's a great resource, and with our new director, Tina Norris, I was surprised when I heard she comes from one of the poorest counties in Tennessee, and she had substantially increased both circulation and programs on a really tight budget. And so I'm really excited to see what she's going to do here in Hudson.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Another question, do you see any areas where the city could reduce funding without reducing services for the residents?
We can always come up with more energy efficient ways, but which would reduce spending in the long run. And I know I would tap into our great resource of both our city employees and our residents with coming up with ideas that we can be more sustainable and cost efficient. But as far as ways that we could reduce spending now, it's a really tight budget. And I think maybe we need to focus on maybe increase in revenue by adding trying to attract new businesses, but having a strategic plan to do that also.
Right. Good. What a couple more questions. What is your position on allowing or limiting more residential and commercial development in the city of Hudson?
That this is where it is so important to have a new comprehensive plan. The city of Hudson is going to continue to grow, as it is just a wonderful place to work and live. And with our proximity to the Twin Cities, we will grow. And that's why I think having a plan in place to make sure we have keep our vision on a clear path will be so important.
Okay, good. And my last question, is the city's plan for maintaining and improving the city's infrastructure sufficient? Why or why not?
Well, maintaining the roads is an important issue to the citizens, and frankly, we're behind, and we need to come up with a plan to take care of that. And as I mentioned, the 2009 comprehensive plan is outdated. And kind of why I bring that up, or for people out there that don't really realize what the comprehensive plan is, it's exactly as the title states. It is a comprehensive plan. It covers what kind of businesses we're trying to attract. It needs to include a development plan, I think, for the dog track. It will guide us and account for the growth that affects the city's infrastructure. And so I know I keep coming back to that, but I do think if you don't have that, your vision can get lost. And with maintaining that charm and doing those things. And I remember when I ran for council actually a year ago, it was an issue then. I said, we need to really look at this comprehensive plan and update it. So I'm hoping I can get in office and get this started because I do feel it's an important issue.
Okay, great. Well, that concludes my questions. Is there any closing comments or anything else you'd like to add?
I would just add that I know myself, and I know I would work hard at being the mayor. And so I'm going to ask for your vote on February 16th.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Vicki. Really appreciate your time today. And just want to remind everyone to get out and vote for the primary election for the City of Hudson, which will be held on Tuesday, February 16th, and then which will be followed up with a general election on April 5th. So for the Western Wisconsin Journal, thank you for joining us.